Madam Aisha, politically, are you aware of what you're up against in the FCT?
So what am I, like in what sense?
The contest that you're getting involved in. Say you get the NDC ticket to represent the party, nominated by the party. I think I also understand that Ireti Kingibe, I don't know whether she's contesting, perhaps, let me assume she's contesting, there's that one, the senator, she's still serving. And then there's Philip Aduda, who has been endorsed by the FCT minister, who says he's going to send Senator Ireti packing from the Senate. So how do you want to bulldoze through somebody like Yesufu Wike? That's exactly my straight question.
Well, the thing is that Yesufu Wike knows where he's from. The blood that flows through there. If he thinks he has coconut head, every one of us, we all have it. And nobody has, monopoly of any howness. I don't think I look like someone who is a walkover to anybody. And definitely. And so in terms of, one of the things I also know about the politics of Abuja is when it comes to the general election, Abuja residents are very, very firm in their decision and they choose who they want. Nobody has the right to come and impose anybody or not in Abuja. It's choices that are out there. There's no coronation in Abuja. Abuja is not the place where someone, there's a coronation, a crown is put on someone's head. It's the choices that are there, and there's the people who definitely make those choices. One thing I will tell you, for me, I will not do any illegality. I'm not going to steal anybody's vote or rig somebody's vote or carry somebody's vote. If anybody there, they give me vote. If I'm able to get, first of all, so even get my ticket, my party, I get able to clinch the ticket, and then we get to general election, somebody says that they are coming to rig the vote that they've given me. We died there that day. That day they will know, say, when they go low, I will go underground. You understand? Like I said earlier, there's no monopoly, to madness or to any howness. But for me, it's about looking at how legislation, we affect, we develop Abuja and how we can do so much better. I don't know, there are some issues here and there that have been said by...
Like this, we the year say Aisha Yesufu is planning ahead to contest as a senatorial race. So many people don't still believe. So she don't come out now, don't come explain to us. So when she talk many things where I want me to listen to her, now watch. I listen to her.
About Mr. Peter Obi, before I come to your own, for instance, he's talked about, they've accused Mr. Peter Obi of inability to stay in one political party, to fight within that political party, to build people, comparing him maybe to the president of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and they've laid this blame on him. Some even call him Rolling Stone. All kinds of names have been ascribed to him. But what do you make of the assertions being made about his not being able to, or not staying in a political party to actively participate in primaries to test his popularity?
First of all, there's no right thinking in Nigeria that is going to waste their energy on discussing Daniel Bwala, and I'm really not going to focus on that. I heard when he was calling my name. But I think I will leave him with Mehdi Hassan. That's someone that knows how to deal with people like Daniel Bwala. And so one of the things I would say is that in the case of Nigeria, definitely what we want is good governance, accountability, and transparency, and a place where the lives of Nigeria would matter. And one of the things is that Mr. Peter Obi, since he left our government as a governor of Anambra State, has been in opposition. And I can tell you, even the Mr. Tinubu that they talk about, he has been in opposition. When I remember there's a particular tweet of mine that they're very fond of bringing up when I said he's the father of opposition. And yeah, I mean that because he stayed in opposition until he was able to get into office, his party were able to get into office in 2015. But that doesn't mean that he stayed in one party. Definitely, I think if I'm not mistaken, from the AD to the ACN, some even have some that they put into APC. So that's changing of party. But like I said earlier, for me, my focus really is on discussion that is going to move Nigeria forward. I'm not going to waste my time discussing anything that Daniel Bwala says. I mean, nobody takes Daniel Bwala serious. That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm sure he will hear what you said now, and he's going to reply maybe on Twitter or some other place. But let's stay with you for a moment. Let's talk about your ambition. Why you chose to leave activism and decided to get involved in politics. It's a bit curious.
Yeah. So one of the things that I realized is that with activism, you understand, I use my constitutional right to be able to talk about issues and point out the problems that we have. And it has gotten to a place from 2018 that I realized that as long as I sit back and just focus on just discussing the problems or pointing out the problems, those who are in office who go in, have the constitutional authority, it depends on whether they listen or they don't listen. And what we have in Nigeria is that usually they don't listen. And for me, I'm seeking for constitutional authority to then be able to profile solutions to these problems that I'm looking for. So it's one thing to keep making demands on people who usually don't even bother to listen. And one of the things for me I do realize is the fact that activism and politics, the end results are the same. It is the process to which you get to the end result that differ. Those in activism, it's for the greater good. They make demands. While those in politics, which is also supposed to be for the greater good, they solve that problems looking at those demands. But unfortunately in Nigeria, the Nigerian brand of politics is a politics that is not seen for the greater good, but for a few who think that it should be about their personal interest. So there's a convergence between activism and politics. And by the way, I'm not leaving activism. I'm not leaving advocacy. I'm taking advocacy into politics. And you talk about the National Assembly. That's where the real activism should all be about. We saw the debacle that has been going on within the National Assembly. People just sitting down, changing the rules. The standing rules are just changed anyhow, can be changed by anyway. So it's all about activism. And you find out that when you talk about the legislative arm of government, it is the one that's supposed to be the representation of the people's voices, holding executive accountable, ensuring that people that are nominated before they are confirmed that they are truly people that will work for Nigeria. So there is so much within that. And for me, I'm not leaving advocacy or activism. I'm simply taking advocacy and activism into politics. And outside, yes, I do have a voice, but inside, I'll be able to do a whole lot more in terms of ensuring that the solutions that we need, we get to them.
Madam Aisha, politically, are you aware of what you're up against in the FCT?
So what am I, like in what sense?
The contest that you're getting involved in. Say you get the NDC ticket to represent the party nominated by the party. I think I also understand that Ireti Kingibe, I don't know whether she's contesting, perhaps. Let me assume she's contesting. There is that one, the senator, she's still serving. And then there's Philip Aduda, who has been endorsed by the FCT minister, who says he's going to send Senator Ireti packing from the Senate. So how do you want to bulldoze through somebody like Yesufu Wike? That's exactly my straight question.
Well, this is that Yesufu Wike knows where he's from. The blood that flows through there. If you think he has coconut head, every one of us, we all have it. And nobody has, monopoly of any howness. I don't think I look like someone who is a walkover to anybody. And definitely. And so in terms of, one of the things I also know about the politics of Abuja is when it comes to the general election, Abuja residents are very, very firm in their decision and they choose who they want. Nobody has a right to come and impose anybody or not in Abuja. It's choices that are out there. There's no coronation in Abuja. Abuja is not the place where someone, there's a coronation, a crown is put on someone's head. It's the choices that are there, and there's the people who definitely make those choices. One thing I will tell you, for me, I will not do any illegality. I'm not going to steal anybody's vote or read somebody's vote or carry somebody's vote. If anybody there, they give me vote. If I'm able to get, first of all, it's to even get my ticket. My party, I get able to cling to the ticket. And then we get to general election and somebody says that they are coming to rig the vote that they've given me. We die there that day. That day they will know, say, when they go low, I will go underground. You understand? Like I said earlier, there's no monopoly, to madness or to any howness. But for me, it's about looking at how legislation, we develop Abuja and how we can do so much better. I don't know if there are some issues here and there that have been said by Mr. Wike, but hey, I'm Aisha Yesufu. I'm not a walkover.
I like the confidence. But let me move away from the politics for a moment. I'll come back to it. Given the last area council elections and we saw the result that played out, let's talk about what exactly do you intend to address in the National Assembly? Because it's been very challenging. It's a challenging space for women to have expression. I'm not saying they are against women, but you understand what I mean. To be able to have your head above the water in this kind of political season, a patriarchal society like ours, is a tough job. So if I asked you 1, 2, 3 things that you sat down and said, I'm going to go to the Senate, and this is why I want to go to the Senate, especially for the people of Abuja. I know it's not campaign season, but just let me give you that benefit of that. What would it be?
Well, so for me, I always believe in hitting the ground running. And I'm also one who I hold myself to higher standards, than I hold other people. I believe that we should have a situation where we have, Abuja deals for Abuja people. And some of the things that I've been looking at, it's first of all, we're going to have something like Abuja Resident Security Bill. We have a lot of insecurity that are here. Legislation can be used to ensure that there is development. We also have the, Abuja Resident Empowerment Bill. We have the Abuja Infrastructure Bill. We have the Abuja Education Bill. In terms of this, is where we have a situation where there's disparity in terms of education, children of the poor and children of the rich. There's a way we can legislate and ensure that every child is able to get that education. I know some people will say, oh, this is not justiciable, but there's a way that you're having certain percentage as we go on into the bill to work out the modality of how it will be done to ensure that every child, whether they live in Kwali or they live in Maitama, they are able to get, that education. There's also the FCTA accountability bill that for me is something that I would like to see passed. And this relates to a sense whereby we see a lot of spendings, we see contracts, we see revocation of land, we see a lot of things being done without any accountability. And we mandate, if laws are there that mandate the minister before any budget is done, anything like that, you must sit down with the people. Laws are very powerful. Sometimes we don't understand how powerful they are. There's also the indigenous, bill and indigenous rights and land protection bill that will also, because we've seen a situation whereby people are losing billions of naira. There are also reports that we've heard.
But Aisha, let me comment. Let me comment. A lot of things you said, if I'm button, because of time.
How would businesses thrive in Abuja?
Can you hear me, madam?
Plants are being demolished left, right, and center. Somebody just wakes up because he.
Let me comment if you can hear me, madam. If you can give me a moment.
And nothing, are being done about it. There are about 7 bills for me that have already lined up, and these are bills, specifically for Abuja people.
All right, let me go back. Let me go back to the politics if you can hear me.
Assembly, so sometimes we're not able to pass. There are certain bills, just to round up on this, to say that we should have Abuja bills for Abuja people.
In closing, I was beginning to wind down. Let me, because some of these things are easier said than done. Senator Kingibe, for instance, she's had a running battle with the FCT minister. I don't know whether they've resolved their issue. As we speak, I think the Senate just passed a 2.2 trillion naira budget for the FCT, if I read that correctly. So big money in the FCT for spending, and then we can look at all other things. So in building a relationship with the history you have seen with Senator Kingibe, for hypothetically, if you knock her off her seat, and if you beat somebody like Senator Duda, for instance, how are you going to be, if Minister Wike is reappointed, if President Bola Tinubu wins, how do you want to deal with him?
Why is the choice to bring in Senator Duda?
I'm talking about Minister Wike, not Duda.
But let me tell you something. Let me say, as a representative, my business is not to go there and fight anyone, but anyone that comes at me, I'm going to sit down and protect my people. My own as a representative is to fight for my people and ensure that they have better life. For example, the Abuja security bill that I'm talking about, to address the issues that we have and mandate certain things, community policing. We have a lot of people who are afraid to go to their houses because
Madam Aisha, if you can hear me, my apologies. I think you didn't get my question. If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Better for the Abuja people. I'm not interested in going to Senate to go and grandstand and be fighting with a minister. What's my business? My business, as much as possible, is to
no, madam. If you can hear me, I said.